Have you ever noticed how some people look at you when they speak not at your eyes, but slightly past them, as if your face were a map and they're searching for an exit? They glance at your shoulder, your forehead, the space just above your left ear, anywhere but the center. Maybe you're one of them. It happens in conversations that should feel easy. Someone asks how you're doing, and while you answer, your gaze drifts to the wall behind them, to their shoes, to the coffee cup between you. You feel their eyes on you warm, expectant, and something in your chest tightens. So you look away, not because you want to, but because holding their gaze feels like standing naked in a spotlight you never asked for. And here's what most people don't understand. Avoiding eye contact isn't about shyness. It's not about being awkward or antisocial or rude. Have you ever noticed how some people look at you when they speak not at your eyes, but slightly past them, as if your face were a map and they're searching for an exit? They glance at your shoulder, your forehead, the space just above your left ear, anywhere but the center. Maybe you're one of them. It happens in conversations that should feel easy. Someone asks how you're doing, and while you answer, your gaze drifts to the wall behind them, to their shoes, to the coffee cup between you. You feel their eyes on you warm, expectant, and something in your chest tightens. So you look away, not because you want to, but because holding their gaze feels like standing naked in a spotlight you never asked for. And here's what most people don't understand. Avoiding eye contact isn't about shyness. It's not about being awkward or antisocial or rude. It's about survival. It is about what happened to you when you were young and learning what it meant to be seen and what it cost you. Because somewhere along the way, you learned that being looked at wasn't safe. Let's talk about what eye contact actually is. When two people lock eyes, something remarkable happens in the brain. Mirror neurons fire, oxytocin releases. The prefrontal cortex lights up with activity as we process emotion, intention, and vulnerability all at once. Eye contact is one of the most intimate forms of nonverbal communication we have. It is how infants bond with caregivers, how lovers communicate without words, how we signal trust and presence and I see you. But here's the thing about intimacy, it requires safety. And if you grew up in an environment where being seen meant being criticized, controlled, or hurt, your nervous system learned to associate eye contact with danger. Psychologists call this hypervigilance, a state of heightened threat detection that develops when your environment is unpredictable or unsafe. Your body becomes exquisitely attuned to potential threats, and eye contact registers as one of them. Think about what happens when a child makes eye contact with a parent in healthy attachment. That gaze is met with warmth, curiosity, delight. The parent mirrors the child's emotions, validates their existence, communicates safety. Research from John Bowlby's attachment theory shows that these early interactions shape our entire relational blueprint, how we connect, how we trust, how we allow ourselves to be known. But what if the eyes that met yours were cold, critical, angry? What if making eye contact with your parent meant seeing disappointment reflected back at you? What if their gaze felt like an interrogation, searching for what you did wrong, what you failed to accomplish, why you weren't good enough? What if looking into their eyes meant witnessing their pain, their rage, their emptiness, and knowing, somehow, that you were supposed to fix it? A study published in the Journal of Experimental Child Psychology found that children who experience emotional neglect or criticism show measurably different patterns of eye contact than securely attached children. They look away more frequently, they struggle to maintain gaze during emotional conversations, their bodies learn, at a neural level, that being seen is dangerous. You weren't born avoiding eye contact, you learned it. You learned that visibility came with a price, and so you developed a brilliant, heartbreaking survival strategy. You disappeared, not your body that had to stay, had to perform, had to be good and quiet and convenient, but your gaze, your presence, the part of you that could be truly seen. You learned to look away. Here's where it gets complicated. You're an adult now. The people who hurt you might be gone, or distant, or maybe you've even reconciled with them, but your body, your nervous system still remembers. And so you walk through the world carrying this invisible armor, this reflex that once kept you safe but now keeps you lonely. You might avoid eye contact during vulnerable conversations. Someone tells you they care about you and you can't look at them, not because you don't believe it, but because being seen in that moment, really seen, in your need, in your softness, feels unbearable. So you look at your hands, you study the pattern on the carpet, you create distance where there doesn't need to be any. You might struggle during job interviews or presentations. People tell you to make eye contact to show confidence, but when you try, you feel exposed, judged, like they can see through you to the fraud you're convinced you are. A 2018 study in social cognitive and affective neuroscience found that people with social anxiety show increased activation in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, during direct eye contact. What feels natural to others feels like standing in front of a firing squad to you. You might notice that you can hold eye contact easily when you're performing. When you're being helpful, professional, competent, when you're wearing your mask. But the moment someone tries to connect with the real you, the moment the conversation shifts from surface to depth, you retreat, your gaze drops, the walls go up, or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you force yourself to maintain eye contact because you've been told it's polite, it's professional, it's what normal people do. So you stare too long, too intensely, because you're overcompensating, you're performing confidence while drowning in discomfort. And afterward, you replay the interaction obsessively. Did I look normal? Did they notice? Did I do it right? Here is what is happening. You are navigating the world with a nervous system that was wired in an environment that no longer exists. Your body is still protecting you from parents who aren't in the room, from judgments that aren't being made, from dangers that aren't real. But it doesn't know that. It just knows that eye contact once meant pain, and pain must be avoided. And so you live in this strange paradox, desperate to be seen and terrified of being visible. You long for connection, for someone to really look at you and see you and stay. But when they try, when they lean in and hold your gaze with tenderness, you flee, not physically, but energetically. You disappear behind pleasantries, behind humor. Behind that carefully constructed version of yourself that's designed to be acceptable but never truly known. The loneliness becomes its own kind of prison. Because how do you tell someone, I want you to see me, but please don't look at me? How do you explain that the very thing you crave being witnessed, being held in someone's attention, is the thing that makes you want to crawl out of your skin? You might notice it in your friendships. You're the one who listens, who gives, who shows up for everyone else's crises. But when it's your turn to be held, to be seen in your pain, you minimize, you deflect, you look away and say, I'm fine, really, let's talk about you. Because being seen in your need feels like an imposition, a burden, something too heavy to place on another person. You might notice it in romantic relationships. Your partner tells you they love you while looking into your eyes, and you smile and say it back, but your gaze slides away. During sex, during moments of deepest intimacy, you keep your eyes closed or look past them, because eye contact during vulnerability feels like too much, like they'll see the parts of you that you have spent your whole life hiding, the shame, the fear, the conviction that you're fundamentally unworthy of being loved while being truly seen. And yet, you watch movies about connection and your chest aches. You see two people look at each other with pure recognition, no performance, no armor, and something in you breaks open. Because you remember, somewhere deep in your bones, you remember what it felt like before you learned to hide, before looking away became your default, before being seen became synonymous with being hurt. Carl Jung once said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely, and this is what avoiding eye contact really reveals. Not shyness, not awkwardness, but a profound discomfort with your own visibility, with your own existence. Because eye contact isn't just about letting someone else see you, it's about seeing yourself, reflected in their gaze. It's about existing, fully and completely, in real time, no editing, no rehearsing, no retreating into your head to plan what you'll say next. It's about being present in your own body, in this moment, with another human being who is also present. And if you were raised in an environment where your presence was conditional, where you were only acceptable when you were quiet, or helpful, or high-achieving, or invisible, then being truly present feels revolutionary, dangerous, wrong. There is a concept in psychology called self-presentational pressure, the anxiety that arises from feeling like you have to carefully manage how others perceive you. For most people, this is situational. They feel it during job interviews or first dates. But for you, it's constant. Every interaction is a performance. Every conversation requires a script, and eye contact breaks the fourth wall. When someone looks at you, really looks at you, they're seeing you in real time, unfiltered. There's no time to edit your expression, no time to craft the perfect response. You're just there, raw, human, imperfect. And that's the thing that terrifies you most. Not that they'll see you and judge you, but that they'll see you and you'll have to acknowledge your own existence. You'll have to stop hiding from yourself. Because here is the truth that most people miss. Avoiding eye contact isn't about other people at all. It's about you. It's about the relationship you have or don't have with yourself, with your own worthiness of being seen, of taking up space, of existing without apology or justification. You learn to look away from others because you learn to look away from yourself, to treat your own needs as inconvenient, your own emotions as excessive, your own existence as something to minimize, to manage, to make palatable for everyone around you. And so when someone tries to see you, really see you, it feels like an intrusion. Not because they're doing anything wrong, but because they're asking you to do something you were taught was forbidden, to be visible, to take up space, to exist without shrinking. The paradox is this: The very people who avoid eye contact most often are the ones who feel most intensely, the ones who notice everything, who sense the emotional undercurrents in every room, who carry the weight of other people's feelings without ever being asked to. You're not disconnected, you're hyperconnected. So connected that you have to look away to keep from drowning in the intensity of human connection. Here is what I want you to know: your avoidance of eye contact isn't a character flaw. It's not something to be ashamed of or to fix like you're broken. It's an adaptation. It's evidence of your resilience, your intelligence, your body's remarkable ability to protect you when protection was needed. But you're not that child anymore, and the people in your life now, the ones who want to see you, who choose you, who lean in when you're vulnerable, they aren't the ones who hurt you. Healing begins with witnessing, with noticing, gently and without judgment. When you look away, not to force yourself to maintain eye contact, but to get curious about what you're protecting yourself from. What are you afraid they'll see? What part of you are you still hiding, even from yourself? Research in neuroplasticity shows us that the brain can rewire itself, that patterns formed in childhood aren't permanent. You can teach your nervous system that being seen is safe now, but it happens slowly, tenderly, one moment of sustained presence at a time. Start small. Maybe it's holding eye contact with yourself in the mirror for just a few seconds longer. Maybe it's staying present in your gaze when someone compliments you, resisting the urge to look away and deflect. Maybe it's noticing when you want to disappear and choosing, just this once, to stay. You don't have to perform confidence. You don't have to pretend it's comfortable. You can say, "This is hard for me," while looking at them. You can exist in your discomfort and your truth at the same time, because here is what happens when you start to let yourself be seen. You realize that the thing you feared most, being witnessed in your full humanity, your full imperfection, is actually the thing that connects us all. Everyone is walking around carrying their own version of "please don't look too closely." Everyone is negotiating their own relationship with visibility and vulnerability. The people who truly see you, who look into your eyes and stay, aren't judging you. They're recognizing themselves in you. They're saying, "Me too, I understand, you're safe here." You learned to look away to survive. Now you get to learn something new, that being seen doesn't have to mean being hurt, that your gaze is not an imposition but a gift, that the eyes you spent so long hiding are the windows to a self that deserves to be witnessed, held, and honored. You don't have to be perfect to deserve to be seen. You just have to be human. And maybe one day soon, you'll look at someone who loves you, really look at them, and you'll let them look back, and you'll stay present, visible, whole. You were never invisible. You just learned to make yourself small, but you're here now. And this time, you get to take up space. You get to be seen.